What if I told you that the most powerful leaders in history weren't the kindest, the noblest, or even the most honest? They were the most strategic. They knew when to lie and when to deceive. They knew how to turn friends into pawns and enemies into tools. And the man who revealed all their secrets? Niccolo Machiavelli. He didn't write a guide for good men. He wrote The Prince, a cold, brilliant blueprint for those who want to win. This video is not about fairy tales. It's about real power. How to outmaneuver your enemies, manipulate your allies, and control the hearts of the people without losing your soul. Because in the real world, the crown doesn't go to the kind. It goes to the one who plays the game best. So if you want to see how power really works, watch closely, because this changes everything. A Machiavellian leader in today's world, whether in politics, business, or even personal networks, understands that enemies don't always carry swords. Some sit in meetings, some clap when you speak, some smile in your face while plotting your fall behind closed doors. The first rule: spot them early. Public rivals are obvious: competitors, critics, opposing factions. But the more dangerous enemy wears the mask of loyalty. The colleague who wants your position, the partner who questions your vision behind your back, the follower who stirs discontent online. Machiavelli's timeless lesson: act first, act decisively. Injuries must be inflicted all at once, he writes, so that, felt all at once, they are less resented. In modern terms, don't drag out conflict. Don't warn. Don't negotiate with snakes. If someone poses a threat to your position, remove them quickly, legally, reputationally, or strategically. Half measures create martyrs. Bold action closes doors. Look at Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's ideal prince. Inheriting chaos, he didn't debate with his enemies. He invited them to a peace summit, promised them stability, and then executed them in a single night. It wasn't cruelty, it was clarity. After that, the region fell into order. Fear, used surgically, created peace. But destruction isn't always the smartest move. In many cases, enemies can be reshaped into tools. If someone holds influence, reach, or followers, don't rush to eliminate them. Offer status. Give them a controlled role. Let them shine, but only under your spotlight. When you feed their ambition just enough, they become predictable and easier to manage. Still, remember, kindness without leverage is weakness. If you choose to spare, it must be strategic. Machiavelli warned what happens when leaders try to rule through goodwill alone. Take Florence, where weak hands and hesitant decisions invited endless rebellion. The people didn't respect gentle rulers. They tore them down. So in the end, the rule remains: mercy is a tactic, not a principle, and hesitation is the silent killer of power. Enemies aren't always strangers. Often, they're the quiet co-worker eyeing your promotion, the friend who talks behind your back, the team member who questions your judgment in meetings. A Machiavellian mindset isn't paranoid, it's prepared. The real danger often comes from within. Passive-aggressive behavior, subtle sabotage, quiet opposition that grows while you're focused elsewhere. That's why awareness is everything. Build a quiet network. Stay plugged in to what people are saying. At work, in group chats, online. Watch for patterns. Learn to read tone shifts and power shifts. The best way to neutralize enemies? Don't give them a reason to start hating you in the first place. Minimize resentment. If you have to remove someone, do it with tact. Give them a graceful exit. Frame it as mutual. Protect their ego. Someone who feels humiliated becomes a long-term threat. If you must cut ties, do it clean, quiet, and final. Also, never let rivals keep influence. If someone once opposed you and now pretends to be loyal, don't just forgive. Restructure, reassign, disarm without being obvious, and in contrast, reward those who stood by you early. Loyalty built on mutual risk is stronger than charm. Watch the ambitious ones, the junior with big ideas and growing connections. The charismatic outsider people start listening to. They're not threats yet, but given time, they will be. Don't suppress them, absorb them, guide their growth, or they'll challenge yours. And here's an underrated tactic: unpredictability. In a world where people study your habits and responses, become harder to read. Change your rhythm. Delay reactions. Respond to praise with silence. Critique with calm. When no one can guess your next move, they stop plotting. Surprise is power. This isn't manipulation. It's strategic emotional control. The game of power is emotional, not just logical. If people know what gets to you, they'll exploit it. A Machiavellian thinker doesn't react. He observes. He waits. When he strikes, it's subtle, silent, and clean. Power is rarely lost in explosions. It leaks in silence, through overlooked rivalries, small missteps, and misplaced trust. The battlefield today is digital and social. The winner isn't the loudest. It's the one no one saw coming. If enemies need watching, allies need managing. Very carefully. In the real world, today's collaborator can be tomorrow's competitor. Loyalty isn't permanent. It's situational, strategic, and often based on mutual benefit. And that's exactly how it should be treated, especially in business, media, or leadership. Powerful allies should be kept close, but not so close that they begin to outshine you. Why? Because when people start believing they're indispensable, they get bold. The first rule of managing powerful allies is this: never let them grow stronger than you in your own space. Praise them, reward them, share credit, but always control the frame. The goal is you elevate them, not the other way around. Machiavelli warned against building your success on borrowed strength. In modern terms, don't rely too much on someone else's network, resources, or clout. Build your own base. Think of someone like a startup founder who bootstraps rather than giving away half their company to early investors, like Francesco Sforza in history. Those who build through their own effort are harder to topple and beholden to no one. But that doesn't mean partnerships are useless. On the contrary, alliances are critical tools, especially in competitive fields. The key is in how you use them. Smart people don't form alliances out of blind trust. They ask, what's the benefit? How long will this work? And how do I exit without fallout? Temporary alliances are often the most powerful. Maybe you partner with a creator for a campaign, align with a colleague to push a shared goal, or team up to counter a competitor. Great. Just don't mistake that alignment for lifelong loyalty. A savvy player prepares for the day the goals no longer align and plans accordingly. That's not betrayal, that's just strategy. Then there's the art of managing how people perceive the relationship. You want to appear collaborative, but never dependent, respectful, but never equal. You give credit publicly, but always retain quiet control. Your allies should benefit from standing next to you, but never forget who sets the pace. Power is rarely shared without consequence, and in every team, every partnership, every circle, someone will try to rise too fast. That's why you stay ahead, not by domination, but by definition. You define the terms, you define the tempo, and when the alliance ends, you walk away with your position intact and their respect still in play. In today's world, whether you're leading a team, building a brand, or running a company, recognition is currency. Shout-outs, bonuses, promotions, even reposts or praise in meetings. They build loyalty. But here's the trick. Don't give too much, too fast. When recognition becomes routine, it stops being valuable. Worse, it creates a sense of entitlement. Make people earn your attention. Let them chase your praise. It keeps them motivated, not complacent. In any group, be it a startup team, a political campaign, or a creative collaboration, power dynamics matter. If one voice starts dominating, balance it by quietly backing someone else. Keep influence evenly spread, so no single player ever becomes the center of gravity. Your job isn't to create perfect harmony. It's to stay in control. And beware of the smooth talkers. Flattery feels good, but it's often camouflage. If someone always agrees with you, they're either lacking critical thought or they're positioning themselves. Encourage honest feedback, but keep boundaries. You don't need best friends around you. You need people whose interests align with yours. That's stronger than loyalty. It's mutual benefit. And don't forget, the one who flatters you most is often the one preparing to replace you. Sometimes, the smartest move is to test your inner circle. Give them responsibility that matters. Watch how they act under pressure. Do they fold, cheat, take credit, or deliver? People reveal their true intentions not when things are easy, but when something's on the line. Trust earned under stress is trust worth having. And when someone crosses the line, as they eventually will, don't hesitate. Act fast. Act publicly. Not for revenge, but for clarity. People must know that betrayal comes with consequences, but always wrap your actions in higher purpose. Protect the mission, the team, the vision. Never let it seem personal. You're not being vindictive. You're defending stability. Here's one of the most overlooked power moves. Rotate your allies. Bring in new collaborators, new energy, new perspectives. Let no one grow so comfortable they start building their own empire within yours. The longer someone holds power, the more they believe they deserve it. And that's when ambition turns dangerous. Keep roles fluid, power temporary, and make people work to stay relevant. Because managing allies in the real world isn't about warm trust. It's about strategic alignment. Keep their interests tied to your success. Give them progress, but never full arrival. A taste of more is more powerful than having it all. Hope is a better leash than fear. Remember this: in modern leadership, power isn't shared. It's leased temporarily, strategically, with a termination clause. A smart leader gives just enough to motivate, holds back just enough to lead, and never forgets. Every team, every partnership, every movement has only one true center of gravity. If you want to lead in today's world, here's the cold truth. People don't follow power, they follow perception. Your audience, your team, your customers, they aren't your friends, but they're not your enemies either. They're the ground beneath your feet. Lose their support, and your whole platform collapses. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But in today's world, fear doesn't mean terror. It means presence, authority, a sense of command. In the digital age, where attention is currency and confidence is leadership, people don't need to like you, but they need to believe you know what you're doing. Most people want two things: security and clarity. They don't need all the answers. They need to feel like someone has a plan. A Machiavellian leader doesn't just lead with policies or products. They lead with narrative. They control the story. Because in modern power, whoever controls the story controls the crowd. And that story begins with image. Machiavelli warned, "A prince must appear virtuous, even if he is not." Translation: your reputation matters more than your intentions. In the age of Instagram, podcasts, and YouTube, perception is power. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. People will forgive flaws if they buy into your mission. So curate your image carefully. Don't overshare. Don't explain everything. Share what reinforces your authority, your direction, your identity. In the eyes of your audience, clarity is trust, and trust is control. But image alone isn't enough. You still have to deliver. People can be distracted by charisma, but only for so long. If their lives get harder, if your promises fail, if things fall apart under your leadership, they'll turn on you fast. And when they do, they'll remember your face, not your excuses. So what's the move? Machiavelli offers a principle that still holds. Be real. Don't try to please everyone. Be clear about what you're doing and why. Stand for something, even if it's unpopular, because even people who disagree with you will respect you if you're consistent and competent. Now, let's talk about the hard stuff. Sometimes you have to make moves that upset people. Layoffs, changes, price hikes, rebrands, rules. How do you do it without blowing everything up? Timing, framing, delegation. Bad news should never come from you directly. Let someone else take the hit. A manager, a spokesperson, the algorithm. The economy. When the storm passes and things improve, that's when you step in and take credit. Harsh? Maybe. But public memory is short and mostly visual. They'll remember your calm face in success, not the administrator who cut budgets. Also, don't introduce too many changes at once. People can't process chaos. Deliver tough reforms gradually. If you're making a cut, offer a benefit alongside it. Raise prices, offer bonus content. Restrict access, improve experience elsewhere. Keep the emotional balance tipped in your favor. And here's one final trick. Let people feel heard, even when you're not changing course. People don't need full control. They just want the illusion of input. Surveys, comment sections, Q&As. They're pressure valves. Use them wisely. Because in the end, leading people is never about raw dominance. It's about controlling what they feel, think, and believe, without them realizing you're doing it. That's the Machiavellian game. And in today's world, it's being played everywhere. So how do you deal with critics, complainers, or backlash in the modern world? Machiavelli understood that dissent is dangerous, but in today's age, trying to silence it only makes it louder. Canceling voices or deleting comments, that often fuels sympathy for your opponents. Instead, outmaneuver dissent. Control the story. Flood the space with value. Your wins, your results, your vision. Don't waste time in endless debates. Let your actions speak louder. When you're making visible progress, people pay less attention to drama. Stay on offense, not defense. Also, show up. Machiavelli warned against being distant. In the modern world, if people stop seeing you, they stop trusting you. You don't have to overshare, but you do need to be visible. Post consistently. Be present in your community, company, or platform. Whether it's a team Zoom, a live video, or a tweet, show that you're aware, active, and in control. Disappear, and people will start writing their own story about you. Next, let people feel like they're part of the win. Even if you're pulling the strings, give your audience, team, or followers credit. Celebrate community milestones. Acknowledge contributors. Machiavelli knew people want more than comfort. They want dignity. If they feel included, they feel invested. And invested people don't rebel. But be careful. Don't become a servant to public opinion. Listening is good. Chasing approval is fatal. A modern leader knows when to take feedback and when to say, "We're moving forward anyway." You're not here to win every poll. You're here to build something lasting. Respect the crowd. Lead the crowd. But don't let the crowd steer. And what about morality? Do you need to manipulate people to lead them? Only when necessary, and never aimlessly. Sometimes you'll face decisions with no perfect option. Sometimes you'll need to pivot in private while projecting strength in public. That's not betrayal. That's leadership in a complex world. Realism, not idealism, wins long games. In the end, the people are both your biggest risk and your greatest defense. If they believe in your direction, they'll stand by you through mistakes. If they respect your clarity, they'll ignore your critics. So don't try to control them. Align with them. Help them see that your win is their win. Because when things get rough, They won't follow someone who begs to be liked. They'll follow the one who keeps the chaos out. Power isn't always about force. It's about understanding people, reading situations, playing the long game. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to teach cruelty. He wrote it to teach clarity. Because leadership, real leadership, isn't about being liked. It's about being effective. You've now seen how a Machiavellian prince thinks, how he eliminates enemies, manages allies, and rules the people, not through fear alone, but through strategy, perception, and decisive action. These principles apply far beyond the throne. Whether you're running a business, leading a team, or simply navigating your own life, power flows to those who understand the game. And now the question is yours. If you were in the prince's position, what kind of ruler would you be? Would you prioritize loyalty, fear, or respect? Would you play the game safe, or play to win? Drop your answers below. I will read everyone. Let's see who among us would wear the crown, and who would lose it. If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to understand how power really works. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because we're just getting started.